What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Black Belt Business Podcast. I'm your host, Eliot Marshall, and it is my goal with each episode of this podcast to share the stories, strategies, tactics, tools, and resources that will help you establish or grow your martial arts school. The Black Belt Business Podcast is brought to you by Easton.Online. You can find all of our digital courses, martial arts curriculums, and resources designed to help you enhance your business at Easton.Online. So without further ado, let's jump into the episode. All right, guys, here we are. New podcast setup. We might be changing it again soon, getting our own studio, but here we are, Easton.Online podcast. And I don't think we've ever done it, have we, Sean? Even back in the day when we first started?
No, first one.
Yeah, first time. A couple firsts for us. Sean Madden, Program Director, Easton Training Centers. You started the program for us. So what up, Sean? How are you?
What's up, man? Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to talk about this. It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And like I said, our first one, we had our first UFC corner together.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago. That was fun.
Went well.
Right? It went well.
Yeah.
Went well.
That was an interesting one.
That was 3 checks, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you always take 3 checks.
That's what we want.
You know, you're happy with 2, but when just so everyone understands, 3 checks means your show check, your win check, and then you get a performance of the night check. So that's what in the industry, that is what 3 checks is.
Drew got 3. It was almost a perfect 3. He got fight of the night.
Right, fight of the night.
So that takes 2 people.
Yeah.
Performance of the night's a clean performance.
Yes.
So
yes.
We strive for performance.
Yes.
But we'll settle for fight of the night.
Yeah, he gets too many.
Because it's 50 G's either way.
Yeah, he gets too many fight of the nights.
Yeah.
Fight of the nights is the worst one to get because that means you got fucked up too.
Yeah, you paid for that one.
Yeah.
You paid for that one with some blood and sweat, but 3 checks is 3 checks. So, and you got to win.
50 racks is 50 racks,
That's man.
So we'll take it. 50 extra racks. So yeah, we'll take it. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about Muay Thai programs. And mostly how Easton scaled, and what we've done. But let's just state the problem first. And you said this to me yesterday. Muay Thai schools are probably a little bit behind jiu-jitsu schools in the structured program, well-run gym, curriculum, sales, marketing, sales funnel, culture, and look, culture, every gym has a culture. It does, whether you're trying to or not trying to, you have a culture.
Yep.
Right? So would you agree with that statement and kind of expand on it a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the big challenges is something similar that jiu-jitsu academies face too, is that we see a lot of the times on the Muay Thai side, people open gyms because they love Muay Thai, right? Mm-hmm. They love teaching Muay Thai. They've trained Muay Thai for a long time, and they want to give back, which is awesome. That's great, but at the end of the day, it's still a business, and the business has to make money in order for you to survive and continue to teach and give back, and spread Muay Thai to everyone. And I think people fall in this trap a little bit of, man, I love Muay Thai. I'm good at Muay Thai. I'm going to teach Muay Thai, but I don't know anything else about how to run the martial arts business. And I think a lot of people get stuck there.
Do you think some of that comes, because you see boxing gyms like this, right? Boxing gyms are terrible. Mm-hmm. Like I was just with our buddy Dan Mulroney, in Chicago, and he was talking about like the boxing gym that he went to, like the coach selling drugs out the back of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, do you think the closer you get to a fight, the worse the gym can be run? Like, so for example, man, I hate it when jiu-jitsu people call a match a fight. Mm-hmm. It's not a fight, right? It is it's a match. And once you punch somebody, it's way more like a fight, right?
It's closer to
It's
one,
closer. Yeah. But I won't even, I'll even say it's a boxing match and a Muay Thai match. Because a full fight includes everything, right? A full fight includes it all. Right. But definitely the consequence of losing a Muay Thai or boxing fight is way higher than losing a jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah.
And probably even winning one is way higher. Way more pain involved. but the closer you get to fighting, the more you get this. I'm gonna keep. I got to keep it raw, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you think that's an issue? A piece of it?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I think that's just part of the fight culture.
Right.
You know, they want to maintain a certain look, a certain feel about the gym because of the stakes with fights. And, you know, I think we've learned over the years because, you know, there was a time where Easton was that a little bit to some degree on the jiu-jitsu side, on the MMA side. Man, you can do both, and you can do both well.
Let's start where Easton was. Let's go back now to where Easton was.
Yeah.
You came in. Dwayne came in. Basically, is what happened, right?
Yep.
Dwayne came in. You loved Muay Thai.
Yep.
Right. You were a huge Dwayne fan. We still love Dwayne. Dwayne's the man. Dwayne Bang Ludwig. I think I talked to him the other day. You know, a couple weeks ago or something. So we love Dwayne. But that's where it started for us. You were there. You were his student.
Yep.
Explain how it was, and then we'll get into some of the things that we changed.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, this was, I had trained a little bit in 2008 in San Diego before I had come back here. And then I joined Easton in 2009. And Dwayne was running the program at that time, him and Tyler Toner. And yeah, man, it was awesome. You know, Dwayne is a fantastic instructor. He's a brilliant mind in the sport. We were lucky to have him at the time. I think something to also consider at that time was he was still competing, right? And that can make things really difficult to try to teach classes and be in, you know, at the level that he was competing at.
He came because I was fighting.
Exactly.
Right. He came because I was fighting, and then I grabbed Tyler, and then and then he came to teach us originally, just me and Tyler. Amal called Sven. So we were all fighting. So, and Dwayne has completely revamped his system too since he was teaching us in Easton.
100%.
You know. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, and I think just back then, as a result of all of those circumstances, it's not anyone's fault. But if you're in the middle of your fight career, you're focused on fighting. You're focused on performing at a high level, and you're going to do this other stuff over here, which is teaching classes at a bare bones level, right? You're not going to put any thought into creating a program. You're not going to put any thought into structure for the program, how students progress. There's going to be set classes on the schedule, and I'm going to teach these classes and show up at a certain time, and that's really going to be the extent of it.
And you do a good job teaching the class.
Yeah.
You teach an amazing class.
He was a great instructor.
Great instructor.
Yeah.
But everyone does. I was like this too. It's not Dwayne or Eliot or Henzo or Tyler or you. Man, when you're fighting, you're focused on, like you said, you're focused on fighting.
Yes.
And we were all everyone was kind of fighting still at that time period, you know? So you go in, you teach the class, you get your $50, $100, whatever it is. You teach an amazing class. You pack that bitch, right?
Yep.
That thing is packed, and then
class ends and you're out.
You're out. You're out.
Right, and nothing happens until the next class.
Right.
That you teach again. Right,
yes.
and I think something that we really focused on, and something that any school needs to be successful, is that there's a lot of growth that has to happen from the end of that class to the next class. It's not just teaching the classes, but it's all of the stuff that happens between those classes. Yes, the class itself has to be phenomenal, and he was a good instructor, but there's so much that has to happen with the program in between the classes or off the mat in order for the program to grow. And we never had that early on.
No,
right? Because we just didn't have someone who was committed to that process.
Right. And even after Dwayne left, and when I say Dwayne left, Dwayne was, like I said, we're still all friends.
Yep.
Like we still all talk. We see each other. I went to lunch, so this is just talking about like the early days of what happened. We still didn't have that after he left. It was just somebody teaching a class.
Yep.
I think it was you and Tyler.
Yep.
Right? Just teaching a class. So I think you were still fighting.
Yeah.
And I think Tyler was still fighting.
Yep.
So it started with Dwayne. Then it went to you guys.
Yep.
Doing the same thing.
Yep.
Coming in, teaching a class, low kicks today.
Yep.
Straight punches today. Spar, hit pits, hit mads. Everybody hits pads.
Yep.
Right? All of this kind of stuff where you're not thinking about taking care of the student. You're thinking about, I'm going to teach this badass class.
I'm going to teach for 1 hour, for 90 minutes at the most, right? I'm going to give it everything I have, and that was it, But again, no structure necessarily. If I try to think back to the curriculum that we had at that time, 16, 17 years ago, it probably could fit on a single page of paper.
Right.
Just one line, this, no detail to it, not a ton of thought to it. I'm just going to put some words on a piece of paper and we're going to run it in this order. And was it functional? Yeah, I guess for the time it was functional. It worked because we didn't know what we didn't know, and students were having still a pretty good time in class. But man,
30 people, 2 classes a week.
Yeah.
Same 30 people.
Yeah.
Maybe 50.
Yeah.
Maybe 50 and 30 showed up to each class.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Looked busy.
Yeah, it looked busy.
Yeah.
It looked busy. But man, when we talk about growth and wanting to level up, that's not the way to do it. That's not even the bare bones. That's just existing.
Right.
So yeah, man, I think a lot of it had to do with, we opened the Denver Training Center in 2013? 12?
Yeah, 12.
Okay. And obviously things got a little bit more serious at that time.
Well, we had a whole half of it. We have a Denver's 10,000 square feet, and half of that area was dedicated to striking.
Yeah. That's a big building.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. And it was like, we got to figure this thing out. Someone has to take the lead on this. At that time, I was still competing because my last fight was in 2016. But I had, I loved Muay Thai at the time. I loved Easton. I was all in, and I wanted to do more other than just teach classes too. And I think that was kind of the start of that track of like, we had talked about
boxing, right?
Remember, we did it all.
We had Kerry Berry.
We did it all.
Like we did boxing classes. We had all of this stuff,
Yeah.
So yeah, we tried anything and everything for a long time.
Yeah. And I think that was good because it ultimately helped us figure out and reaffirm what we're best at, which is jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai.
Yes.
We are experts in those fields. These other things, there's other experts at. It's not us. And that's what we want to focus on, and that's what we want to pour our time and our energy and effort into.
Yeah, good book, Good to Great, by Jim Collins. He talks about this, find your hedgehog concept, what you can be the best in the world at, and double, triple, quadruple down on that.
Yep.
When the program started to shift, what do you think were some of the big changes?
I think when we finally kind of turned that corner, a lot of it was structure, putting in, helping with class structure. It was kind of the beginning of solidifying a ranking system, and we can jump into that a little bit more later because that's kind of a hot topic in Muay Thai in America is, should we have a ranking system? Should we not have a ranking system? Originally we decided to kind of mirror the jiu-jitsu side of things and say, we're going to take these belts and we're going to just use these as markers on the Muay Thai side. And for a while that worked, So putting in some ranking systems, some structure, just to give our students goals and make them feel like they had things to chase in the program, I think were really, really important.
I'm remembering this now. When we had like boxing and what we called kickboxing,
yep,
it didn't lead to Muay Thai. You were just doing a workout over there on the bag.
Yep.
And I think when you're saying putting some structure and things in front of it, that was a first big step, right? Is like we had like levels where, what was it, KB1, KB2? Is that how it started? So kickboxing 1, kickboxing 2, and then you moved on. This idea that just like on a jiu-jitsu side, you progressed. Nobody just came in and hit the bag for an hour.
Yep.
Like if you're coming in, you're learning something, no matter whether you're here for a workout, you think, or whatever it is, right? That was a big part of it, I think.
That's a big part of it. And you're going to hear me reference this a lot in these episodes, but there's a challenge on the Muay Thai side as well. Also, I talked about earlier about how people open Muay Thai schools because they love Muay Thai, but they don't understand the business side. There's also the challenge of, man, I'm trying to mirror Muay Thai in Thailand in my gym here in America, and people sometimes fail to understand that these are two totally separate markets. In Thailand, you're going to go to the gym. There's going to be a trainer or a pad holder that holds pads for you. You're going to hit the bag a little bit, and then you're going to go home. It's not a structured class. They're having those now because they're actually starting to model the Western way as opposed to us modeling their way, which was what it was for so long. But now the roles are reversing because they see the success that's happening in America now. It's starting to pick up a little bit. But in Thailand, the progression is very slow. If you're not in a group class, if someone's not teaching you something, man, the trainers you'll pay them, they'll hold 10 rounds of pads for you. They'll get you tired. They might show you one or two things, but that's it. And you come back and do that day in, day out. They're interested in people that are going to fight and make money for the gym, right? How many people do we have actually stepping into the ring and competing at Easton at any Muay Thai school in the U.S.? It's a very small amount. It's a very small amount. So what's the alternative? You have to have a path for people to learn, to ascend through the sport, to ascend through class structures and ranking systems and make progress, because not everyone's going to step in the ring and fight.
No one's going to step in the ring and fight, really.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you come down and look at it, no one steps in.
Right.
It's like the amount of people that step on the mat in jiu-jitsu to actually like compete at a higher level. Like no, like, you know, you might go try a tournament. Trying a Muay Thai fight is tough because you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. You're getting punched in the head. So even fewer people do that.
Yeah.
You know.
And so I think that comes down to the question is, what am I gonna do for the 99.9% of my other members to keep them in the program, to keep them growing, and keep them interested in the sport and the martial art, because they're not going to compete. Competition is its own separate avenue. We have that. We have really good fighters at Easton as well. But for the 99.9% of our other Muay Thai members, what are we doing for them to keep them in the program and keep them growing? And I think that's something that in the U.S. in general, people are learning better now, but they want to focus on the fighters so much that all the other members kind of get left by the wayside and people get stuck and they get left in this weird middle ground. And ultimately, I think they lose interest. You know, they feel like they're not making progress, and then they probably end up washing out, unfortunately.
Look, for you jiu-jitsu school owners that are listening to this as well, because I know we have a ton of you that listen to this podcast, sound familiar? You know, like this, it doesn't matter the martial art almost. Like this is the issue. You get focused on fighters.
Yeah.
You get focused on this idea of you don't want to be a McDojo.
Yep.
Right? Which nobody does, right? No one wants to be a McDojo. You get focused on this idea that everyone, that you have to make them, I call it badasses on day one.
Yeah.
Right? They
Exactly.
have to be badasses on day one. And that shit's just not true.
Yep.
Right? That shit is just not true. Not only is it not true, it's objectively impossible.
Yeah.
And if you're really trying to do that, all you're doing is pushing them out your door.
Yep.
Right? You're just pushing them out your door saying, hey, go, leave. And you don't think you are.
Yep.
Right? And you have this idea in your head that you think they're like, nah, man, we make people fucking tough. You know, maybe. You might make, if that's what you're doing, I think you make the tough tougher and the good better.
Yep.
But you don't do what martial arts is really supposed to do, which is teach the weak and the not tough and the not courageous how to be strong, tough, and courageous.
Yeah. It should be for everyone.
Yes.
Right? Muay Thai should be for everyone. Jiu-Jitsu should be for everyone. Competition's not for everyone. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu should be accessible for everyone.
Yes.
And some of these schools, you know, we're not trying to throw shade, but it's just they will focus on the fighters. They will, by default, make the bar so high that these people come in and they feel like it's unattainable for them, right? And
Yes.
that shouldn't be the reality in a martial arts school that's teaching Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu in the U.S.
What should be the reality?
It's for everyone, man. You should be able to come in. You should be able to come to a safe and welcoming community. It should be hard. Don't get me wrong, right? Jiu-Jitsu by nature, Muay Thai by nature are very difficult sports, right? But my thought is anyone that walks in one of our doors at our academies, somewhere in their mind subconsciously accepted that they're ready to do something hard already, right? They are signing up for a challenge. They're signing up to make themselves better, whether they can express that or not on day one, right? But we know in their mind they made a decision to challenge themselves and push themselves to be better. So, yeah, the sports are hard by default, you know?
I think we forget that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we forget that
Yeah.
as like, you know, you and me sitting here.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing Muay Thai for over 15 years now. I've been doing, you know, I walked into my first martial arts academy when I was 6. Before,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I was scared. I know I was scared. Like, I used to cry.
Yeah.
I was scared of my instructor. He beat us with a bamboo stick. You know, right? Like it was 1986. Like it was totally cool. The parents loved it. You know, I think I told this story. He actually got sued once. You know, my old instructor for hitting a kid with a stick, and like went to court. And the judge was like, "Hey, ma'am, what did you, ma'am and sir, to the mom and dad, what did you put your kids in karate for?" And they were like, "Well, you know, respect, not to get bullied and discipline. And the judge goes, what was that last word? He goes, discipline. And he goes, yeah, that's exactly what they got. Case closed. Like, could you imagine that happening now?
The good old days.
The good old days, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think, so my recollection of walking into a martial arts school, I feel weird when I don't.
Yeah.
Like if I go a week without walking into one,
Yep.
like I get, what's going on in my life?
Yep.
So I think sometimes as instructors and owners, and program directors and all of these things that we've been doing it so long, we forget how fucking hard day 5 is.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, they made day 1. Like day 10 is still hard.
Yep.
Right? So,
yeah, you're exactly right. I think we're a little bit removed from that part of the journey,
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully we have people at Easton that aren't removed from that part of the journey. And generally those people are the ones speaking to the people that are coming in that are in day 1, day 5, day 10, day 30.
Yeah, I've realized for myself here, as you said that was super important. And maybe this sounds shitty. I'm not a good beginner instructor anymore.
Well, we're university professors, right? And you don't bring a university professor in to teach 6th grade,
right?
Because they're not going to have the patience to teach 6th grade.
I just don't.
And maybe that's our fault, but we spend so much time at the university level teaching, right? That's where we're good at now. But what did we do? We brought in other people who can teach 6th grade to teach 6th grade, right?
Yeah.
And that's true for our day 1 people. They have maybe better dispositions than you and I do. They have more patience than you and I. They have more enthusiasm. And that's what beginners need. They need to feel that level of success, that level of welcoming. And man, at the end of the day, I'll say this. If they called you today and say, hey, Eliot, I need you to teach fundamentals, you're killing it.
Let's go.
You're killing it.
Let's go.
Sean, I need you to teach kickboxing last resort. I'm going to kill it.
Right.
But I'm not doing it day to day anymore because my patience would wear a little bit thin.
If COVID came again, I would do it. I would do it, and I would do it, and I would do it because we had to.
And anyone in our role should.
Yes.
You better have that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But thankfully we're in a position now where we have been able to put people into those roles who are consistently better at it than we are. And I think that's a big thing.
I think this is a big thing you just said. Better at it.
Yes.
And that it is what? Teaching beginners.
Yes.
Dealing with beginners. Not Muay Thai.
Nope.
Not Muay Thai. Not Jiu-Jitsu. Right? They might even be over there teaching it sometimes, and this is so hard for us. This is so fucking hard, right? When you see him making a little a mistake, right?
Yep.
Then when you see him, not a big mistake, but just a mistake, and you're like, man, and I think Muay Thai might struggle with this as much as Jiu-Jitsu does,
Yep.
right? And you're like, damn it. That's not right.
Yep.
But you got to remember, that's a first day person. That's a 10th day person. That person, the teacher overall might be better. And it has to go this way, right? It doesn't have to be perfect to have someone teach, let's say, a beginner's class.
Yeah, and really, I think we're hitting kind of like the whole crux of this thing is that academy owners are afraid to let go of that because they go, oh man, the second I see someone teaching and making a mistake or they're not correcting these new students, we're going the way of a McDojo. Right. Instantly.
Right.
And so what does an academy owner do? Well, I'm going to teach all of the classes. I'm going to teach 35 classes a week because I know my quality of instruction.
Right.
And this is moving us into a whole separate topic, but man, you have to find people that can do that. And you have to understand that it's okay that it doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat for the instructor and for the student.
So if you're a beginner Muay Thai school right now, you might be teaching all the classes.
Yeah.
Right. But your goal, one of your goals on the mat should be to start developing somebody else.
Yes.
To be able to teach a class.
Yes.
Right? To be able to teach a class. I think that's a great place for you to start.
That alone, I think, is a huge help in being an academy owner, teaching Muay Thai. You're the only one there. Man, if you can have a system in place to develop 1, maybe 2 instructors that teach to your level that you're happy with, that know your processes, that, again, are going to make students feel safe, welcome, enjoy the classes. Man, you just took such a load off of your plate and you're able to work on other things in the business to allow it to grow. But if you're stuck on the mat teaching 35 Muay Thai classes a week,
it's going to be tough.
Who's growing the business?
It's going to be tough.
No one.
So I want to say that one of the big things that we probably did, Sean, was we created a program director role, right? And hi, nice to meet you, Sean Madden.
Yep.
Program director. What was that role? Where did that role start, and how did it grow?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think largely, at least from my experience, I've had the pleasure and the ability to travel all over the world and see different Muay Thai schools. It's not really a role that I've seen exist in other places. And when we first had it, it didn't exist here at the time. Right. But, basically there was a conversation at one point, I think around 2015, where Mike and I, we actually were at the Whole Foods in Boulder, and he had kind of asked me if I was interested in being a GM, and I said no. For a variety of reasons at that time in my life. And he goes, well, okay, well, you're kind of shit out of luck. We got to figure out something then, because that's the only track where we can.
That's the only path that paid any money where you could live a life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had just said no to that. Right. So, we put us in kind of a difficult position. But we kind of put our heads together and we came up with the idea of a program director. Basically, I think at that time, we had Muay Thai at maybe 4 of our locations. But, we understood that the program was fragmented. It was being run independently at 4 locations. There was no consistency. There was no alignment. There was no communication between the locations on the program. And I kind of said, hey, man, I'm willing to take that on. Let's try to make this program move in one direction. Let's try to build some consistency and some alignment with the program. And I think we can, make a role out of that job. I think I can make that a full-time job.
Right. It sounds like a lot of jobs at Easton.
Yeah.
Phipps' job, everyone's job. We're like, hey, let's start here. We need this shit. And then you kind of piecemeal it together to a whole job and then it works.
Well,
right?
And I think that's important. I think that's something that we actually do really well at Easton, but I think it's just kind of an important life thing too, is that man, you need to demonstrate your value and your willingness to work and create value for a business, for whatever it is, and you can find a way.
It's so weird that it doesn't happen anymore, really.
Yeah, that's kind of gone.
Yeah, it's like pay me and then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? Pay me and then I'll do it. Not let me show you that I can do it and then the pay comes, right?
Yeah.
It's a very backwards thing that happens now. But you did it, right? You did it. You were like, hey, look, let's do this, and you made it happen. What does your role look like now?
Yeah, I don't think it's too far off of what I just said. The original concept of the program director, right? I guess my job description now for program director is just quality first. I think that's a big one for me. I think that really aligns with one of our core values, which is excellence. Right? So for me, having an excellent Muay Thai program that includes excellent instruction, that includes excellent schedules, everything that involves that in the Muay Thai program, that's first and foremost for me. Is I want a quality product. Our members pay a good amount to be at Easton, and they deserve an excellent product. So, first and foremost on my plate is making sure we're maintaining a high quality and a high standard. I think that's really important. Again, with the amount of locations that we're fortunate to have, alignment and consistency across those locations is really important too. So a big part of my job as a program director is making sure that a student that could go from our Denver to our Nevada to our Boulder location to our Longmont location is going to have a consistent experience, whether that's the teaching format, the class structure, the rank that they hold is going to be consistent from one school to the next, and the requirements are not going to be really different across the board. So consistency and alignment are a big part of the job too. Instructor development. Go ahead. Yeah.
And that would be scaling. That's
scaling.
That's scaling through systems.
That's scaling.
Right?
Yes.
That is just literally scaling through systems, because you can't be in Denver, Boulder, Nevada, Littleton.
There's not 8 of me.
Right? There's not 8 of you.
Yeah.
So how have you been able to do that a little bit? How have you created systems that have made it so that you, as the director, who when it's going bad, let's say, Mike can come to I won't even say going bad, when there's an issue at a school that you haven't been to maybe for a minute, a month,
Yeah.
let's say, because that happens easily
Oh, yeah.
in your role, that you're able to then go and correct said issue, but not actually you correct it, right? Because you have to have a system of how you've done it.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, shout out to COVID for one good thing. It allowed us to sit down and write out a lot of these SOPs, right?
Look, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, COVID sucked in it, man.
For sure.
Like, COVID was fucking terrible in it. But holy shit, we are better as an organization.
We were grinding during COVID.
Oh, my God.
And I'm not even talking about from your seat, because you had so much to deal with. But, man, the people that were working on the business during COVID, man, we were putting in crazy hours to start building some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we had the opportunity to do it,
Yeah.
right? We weren't on the mats. So it was like, man, we were sitting down, and I just remember just hours and hours of just being on the computer, writing out all these processes.
Yeah.
And this is something that a lot of academy owners never find the time to do, And again, like I said, it was one, whatever you want to call it, some small unintended benefit of COVID, but we had the time to sit down and create and put this stuff onto paper, and it set us up for a lot of success for the next 5 years moving forward.
And I think one of the lucky things for us with COVID was that we had already started Easton.Online.
Yeah.
Right? We had already started Easton.Online.
Yep.
So we had a way to distribute content to our members.
Yes.
To keep them paying.
Yep.
I think that was a thing where we got a little lucky. That was an unintended consequence of Easton.Online.
Yep.
Is we had a platform and a structure where we had this all set up already. So we weren't trying to rush and be like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? And then that allowed then you guys to be able to sit down and really work on the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think all these things, no one saw it coming, right? No one could see it. So shout out to COVID.
Yeah, man. That was, that I think that's an important perspective.
Well, let's not say the disease. Shout out to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Shout out to the structures and things that were put in place because of the pandemic.
That's it. And man, I talk to a lot of Muay Thai business owners all the time, and we talk about all the time, man, how I wish I had a process in place for this. I wish I had a process in place for that. And I get it, man. It took us a lot of time to write all of this stuff down and put it on paper and make SOPs. But you have to find the time to do that, and a lot of people end up struggling with these same things.
It's really hard, right? When you think about the time to do this stuff, you got to grind. Like when it comes to this, like it's what we talked about when we were talking about you and Dwayne and Tyler teaching when you were fighting. Because you were fighting and you're so tired and you're so all of this, you just teach the class and you go home, right? Not thinking about how you're going to scale the program and grow it. The hour and a half class or the 2 hours you teach that day, or man, if you're teaching all the classes, the 5 hours you teach that day, there's 19 more hours. I hate, like, this is just part of it. There's 19 more hours. Let's say you're going to sleep for 8 of them.
Yep.
So now there's 11 more hours. Let's say you're going to spend 3.5 to 4 hours with your family.
Yep.
Right? That takes us down to 7 hours. What are you doing in those other 7 hours?
Yeah.
And if you're in the beginning stages of not having this, you've got to be writing out your systems.
You got to grind it, man, for a little bit. And, this goes right back to what we just talked about. If you're a Muay Thai business owner and you're teaching 26 classes a week, man, it's going to be really hard to find this time. So you either need to make the time, or going back to systems, you need to develop 1 or 2 instructors that can take some of that load off of your plate. Not all of it, right? You still need to teach. That's really important. You just don't want to disappear from the business. But you have to take off a little bit of that load so you can have time to create SOPs for your business so this stuff can grow.
Let's help people here for a second too, okay? And let's be clear. When you find someone that's going to teach your class, you've got to be or teach a class and be in the school. When we talk about this idea of writing systems, you can't be sitting in the school watching them teach class trying to write systems, right? This happens at home at 10 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock in the morning, right? Or at a coffee shop or somewhere. You are not sitting down in the office of the school or anything like that writing systems for your school in the school.
Yep.
Have you written one at Easton?
No, you can't. How could you? It's the same reason that when I work out, when I do a lift at Easton, it has to be in an off hour.
Yeah.
What happens if I come in at 5 o'clock on a Monday night and I lift?
No way.
I'm not lifting anything.
No.
I'm watching the program, right? I'm focusing on what's in front of me.
Or students coming up to talk to you.
Or someone's coming to talk to me.
Or a parent, or this, or Eliot's coming up to say something about this, right? Or you're coming to me.
Yep.
It's not even intentional. No one's doing this for like, oh, I'm going to go bother Sean during his workout now.
Yeah.
You know?
They see me, they're going to talk to me.
Of course.
I see them, I'm going to talk to them.
Yes. 100%.
To create meaningful procedures for your business, it has to be done outside the business where you can focus just on that, and there's no other external factors kind of bothering you at that time.
This is in the E-Myth Revisited. So if you haven't read the E-Myth Revisited, super big concept here. Are you working on the business or in the business? Teaching classes is in the business.
Yep.
The second you step in the doors of the business, it is impossible to work on the business.
Yep.
Okay? You have to be outside of the doors of your school, of your academy, of your gym, whatever you call it, to work on the business. So I think they call it a pro tip these days, right? That's a pro tip. All right, Sean, let's wrap this episode up real fast. Where are we going? Where's Easton going? Where do you think, what's the vision for the program for you? And this is such a big thing, right?
Yep.
Because, and the reason I'm asking you this and for this episode is because you always got to be shooting at something. It gives purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I got to be shooting at something that I'm trying to attain. And I don't care if it's your life, your school, or, your next fight. When you're shooting at something, your life has purpose and you make it happen.
Yep.
A business has to have purpose. And then inside of our business, Easton, there's jiu-jitsu and there's Muay Thai. Each program has to have purpose and vision. Where are we going?
Yeah. And, I think that's something that I didn't touch on earlier too in the program director role. That's also a big part of the job, in my opinion, is looking forward, right? Being a visionary for the program. And going along with that, it's keeping an eye and a pulse on the sport worldwide. I am a nerd for this sport. I pay attention to everything here in Thailand, in Europe, and I'm seeing what the best practices are currently in the sport of Muay Thai, but also in the business of Muay Thai. And I try to take that stuff and I try to bring it back to our program to make it the best program around. So, again, quality first and foremost. We want the best Muay Thai program around, and around could be Colorado, it could be regional, it could be national. I already personally believe we have one of the best Muay Thai programs in the country. I've been fortunate to see a lot of different Muay Thai programs in the country, and I'm pretty confident in the ability to say that we have one of the best programs in the country. But I also want to make sure on the other side of it is that we can have a great program, but if we don't have people competing and fighting and testing what we're teaching, then we're full of shit. And I think that's really, really important. We went back to this McDojo thing earlier. We talked about this. It's always going to be a sliding scale. There's been times where we slid completely opposite of that, and that was in the early days. There's been times when we slid closer to that, when we try to put structure in. There's times when we're right in the middle. It's going to be, you're not always going to be in the same spot every single time. The pendulum is always going to swing based on what your academy needs. But for us, on both sides of the mat, it's really important that we have a quality program, but we also have real ring-tested fighters coming from our program that can compete and win, not just compete. Competing is one thing, and that's important, but winning, and not every single time, but winning at local, national, and international levels. I think that's really, really important for your program.
Nice, yeah. One of the things I'll say to you that I thought was super impressive when we were in Vancouver, just to your credit about like the always learning thing, Faraz was doing a workout with his brother, and they had started after we had started, right? We were almost done our workout with Drew. So we completed our workout, and then you just stayed and watched Faraz.
Yep.
You just stayed and watched Faraz, do this workout. I thought that was really cool because I don't think Faraz is a very similar style to you.
No, very different.
Very different styles, right? But you were just going to learn. You were just going to sit there, observe, and just see what he did, and see what he did. And I thought that was really cool to your, to say just like your character of how you approach this role of yours, this like leading from the front thing, and I think this is so important. Leading from the front doesn't always mean you have to like be the like, man, you ain't fighting anymore, dog.
Yeah.
Right. We were just talking about it. Your back's bad, your neck's bad, your fucking knees. Yeah. No shit. I'm not fighting anymore either. Right. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can't lead from the front. Still, right. That doesn't mean that. And I thought that was a great example. Like, man, we're there for Drew.
Yep.
But you still took some time to gain some knowledge. So
I appreciate that. And I'll just add one thing about that, because I think that's part of why I've been successful in this role in particular, is that I go on these trips a lot, and I like to find moments like that all of the time, but I do it in the service of thinking about our program. How can I watch Firas Zahabi, who's a legendary coach, work with his brother, and what can I take from watching them? And maybe I can find something that we can add to our program. Or maybe I look at it and it wouldn't be with Firas, but maybe I watch another coach and I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is really bad.
Yeah, we see that
all the time.
For sure.
And I'm like, man, thank God we have what we have.
Right.
And I make it a point on all of these trips, wherever I travel, that I go look at a gym or I watch these coaches, and I either find something that we can bring back to Easton Muay Thai and Easton in general, or it reaffirms me that we're doing everything right. So I just try to keep that lens of, I'm going to do this in service of Easton.
Yeah. And you don't have to, right? You're not an owner.
It's not a job requirement.
Yeah. You don't have to. You're not. Yeah. I was going to say, you're not an owner.
Yep.
But I almost feel like that's what I noticed.
Yeah.
I noticed that. I was like, damn, he's just going to try to gain some information.
That's it.
Good information, bad information, didn't matter. And I thought that was really, really cool and probably a testament of why the program is so great. So
I appreciate that.
So
Thanks,
I appreciate
man.
it, Sean. So guys, if you are a martial arts, I'm going to change that. Guys, if you are a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Muay Thai Academy and you are interested in more help, like a more in-depth help, we are starting another Accelerator Plus program. Sean is going to be the leader of it. I will be there with him, so we're going to start this together with obviously some striking focus on this. So it'll be really great for Muay Thai and striking schools to jump on. But in the new year, we are going to start. So please, I think we have a link that we are going to add to this episode in the show notes and all of that. If you are interested, we are starting a new one in the new year of how, in an in-depth look of how exactly we run Easton. So click the link, fill out your information. We are looking to help. We love to help. I think you can feel Sean's passion. And that's it, guys. Sean, let them know who you are on Instagram if they want to reach out and talk to you. And then go ahead.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, guys. At Sean Madden _striking on Instagram. Feel free to send me a message anytime. DMs are always open, and I'm an open book about this stuff. So looking forward to working with you guys.
I am at Fire Marshal 205. We are at Easton _online. So that is it, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.